Hi guys, so today we are going to continue on factoring polynomials, okay, and this is probably the most common type of factoring that you will see, okay. So the most common polynomial that you're going to factor are trinomials, right, which we learned means that they have 3 terms, okay. To do this, we split the middle term, so that we go from 3 terms, our trinomial, to 4 terms, okay. There are multiple methods that we can use to find the factors, such as the diamond method, the box method, and the guess and check method. When I learned how to factor when I was in school, basically we just wrote our parentheses, and then we needed to know our multiplication and addition so well that we just needed to write what it was automatically without all of these little tricks and tools to help us. Okay. So trinomials that we factor normally follow the pattern ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? So a here is going to go with x squared. Okay? B here goes with x to the power of 1. And then c here is your constant. Right? So it's important to recognize that your trinomials are going to be in the pattern ax squared plus bx plus c. Right? There are a couple methods that I'm going to show you. You can choose which one you prefer. Okay, so one of them is the diamond method. Okay, and you draw an X. Okay, for me, I put A times C on top and B on the bottom. Some people do it the flipped way. It doesn't really matter. Okay, you just need to remember you need to find 2 numbers that multiply to whatever A times C is. And you need to find those exact same 2 numbers that also add up to B. Then what you're doing is factoring by grouping. Okay? So really, whether you want to put AC on top or on the bottom or B on top, doesn't matter. You just need to find 2 numbers that multiply to be AC and add up to B. Okay? And I'll show you what that means in a bit. Okay? The next method is the box method. So for those of you who liked to multiply polynomials with box method, this is going to help you with that. Okay, so you're going to write a polynomial in standard form. Okay, right. As always, we're going to pull out the GCF if there is one. Okay, so remember standard form, we go from biggest exponent to smallest. Then you're going to create a 2 by 2 grid. Okay. The first term, ax squared, is going to be in this top left corner. And your constant term is going to be on the bottom right. Okay. Then, similar to the diamond method, you're going to do A times C and something that adds up to B. You're going to find 2 numbers that when you add them equal B, and when you multiply them equal A times, oh, sorry, this is wrong. It should be C. That's a typo. So you're finding 2 numbers that add up to B, but when you multiply it, it gives you A times C. Okay? Make sure you attach a variable x to each of them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look at each row and column and pull out their GCF. Okay? The factors of the trinomials are going to come from these outside terms. Okay? And then if you did pull out a GCF earlier, you're going to plop that right in front. Okay? So let's get started. Okay. So here I have 12x squared plus 10x minus 12. Okay, I'm going to do the diamond method and the box method. And then after that, I prefer the diamond method. So the rest of the examples, I'm going to do the diamond method. Okay. However, if you choose or prefer the box method, you can do that as well. Okay. So first, always our first step, super important, is that if there is a GCF, you need to pull it out. Okay, so 12x squared plus 10x minus 12. Is there a GCF? Yes, there is. The GCF is 2, right? 12, 10, and negative 12 are all divisible by 2. Okay, they don't all have x's, so no x's to pull out. Okay, what I'm left with, 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then didn't touch the x, so it stays as x squared. Right? 10 divided by 2 is positive 5. Didn't touch the x, so it stays there. And then negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Okay. Now, I'm going to find my A, B, and C. Okay, so A here goes with your x squared. So here, A is 6. Okay. B goes with your x to the power of 1. So here, B is 5. Okay, C is your constant. Okay, so that here is negative 6. So C is negative 6. Okay. It'll get faster as you get more and more used to it. Really, factoring, the more you practice, the faster you're at, the better you'll be. Okay, so diamond method. Okay, so like I said, I choose AC on top, B on the bottom. It doesn't matter. Okay, all right. Okay, so AC, 6 and negative 6. So 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. All right? How do I get that? It's 6 times negative 6. Right? My pink times my green. Okay. Then my B here is 5. Okay. Then I need to ask myself, okay, what two numbers multiply to negative 36 but add up to 5? Right? So this is where you need to get good with your multiplication and your addition and subtraction, right? The better you are at that, the easier it'll be, right? So I know that 9 and negative 4 give me this, right? 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. 9 plus negative 4 is positive 5. Okay? Once you have that, okay, you're going to rewrite, instead of 5x, you're going to replace this 5x with 9x and negative 4x. Okay. So all I did here is I replaced this middle term with this. Okay? And you can see, right, it gets me back to that 5x. Okay? After that, it's just factoring by grouping. So I'm going to split. Okay? Look at my first half. 6x squared, 9x, they both have a 3x in common. Okay. 6 divided by 3 is 2. X squared divided by x is x to the first. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X to the power of 1 pulled out, no more x left. Okay. Then negative 4x minus 6, both of them, I can pull out a negative 2. Okay. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2, and then x. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3. Okay, and then factoring by grouping, right? So I have 2x plus 3, 3x minus 2. Okay. Then, earlier, don't forget we pulled out a 2, so when we write our final answer, we need our 2 out in front that we pulled out earlier. Okay. And there you go. So if you're wondering where I got that 2 from, that was from earlier when we pulled out our GCF. Okay? So 12x squared plus 10x minus 12 in fully factored form is like this. Okay? If I wanted to check my answer, I just need to multiply it all the way through, and then we're good to go if it matches. Okay, so next is the box method. Very similar. Okay, so here you're going to put this first term. So 6x squared right. Then here is going to be our constant term. So here is negative 6. Okay. And then similar to the diamond method, it's just this uses diamond and then factor by grouping. This one uses a box, right? So again, we want something that multiplies to a times c. Okay, so in this case, that's 6 times negative 6, which is negative 36 we found earlier. Okay. And then we want something that adds up, okay, to whatever our b term is, right? And here, our b term earlier was 5. Okay. So again, we're looking, okay, what multiplies to be negative 36? Okay, what two numbers multiply to be negative 36, but add up to 5? Okay. Well, the answer is 9 and negative 4, right? It doesn't matter where you put it. You could put the you could put the 9 here. You could put the -4. It really doesn't matter. Okay, right? So 9 times -4 is -36. 9 plus -4 is 5. Okay. I'm going to add my x here. Then you're going to factor by grouping. Okay, so you're going to look at this row. So 6x squared, 9x, they both have a 3x in common, so I'm going to pull that out. Okay. Then I'm going to look at the bottom row. Right, -4x minus 6, they both have a -2 in common, so I'm going to pull that out. Okay. Then I look at this column, 6x squared and -4x, they both have a 2x in common. Okay. Both divisible by 2, both have an x. Then I look at the next column, okay, 9x and -6, they both have a 3 in common. Okay. Right. And since this is a positive 3, then here, 3x minus 2 is one term. 2x plus 3 is another term. Okay. And then earlier, right, we pulled out a GCF of 2, so that's just going to plop right in front. And there you go. Okay. So this was from the GCF that we pulled out way in the beginning. Okay. The 3x minus 2 comes from here, when we pulled out the GCF from this row and this row. The 2x plus 3 comes from here, when we pulled out the GCF from this column and this column. Okay? So it's up to you which method you prefer. Okay? But I prefer the diamond method because it's faster for me versus drawing my box. Okay? Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. Okay, so 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. First, we see if there's a GCF. Okay, 2, 9, 10. Nope, they don't all have x's, so there is no GCF. Okay, so I'm going to start doing my diamond. Okay, so here a is 2. Okay, so a goes with our x squared. Okay. B is 9. Sorry. 2, 9. And then C is our constant, okay, which in this case is 10. Then I'm going to do my diamond. Okay. The top, A times C, so 2 times 10, which is 20. Then B on the bottom is 9. Okay. So you just need to find what multiplies to 20 but adds up to 9. Right? So always what multiplies to be AC adds up to B. Okay. So what multiplies to 20 but adds up to 9? Ah, I know. 4 and 5. Okay. So now I'm going to rewrite my polynomial. But instead, this 9x now, I'm going to replace with 4x and 5x. So once I find my two numbers that add up, that multiply to be my AC and add up to my B, okay, I'm going to replace that middle term here with this. Right? And you can see it's equal, right? I just split it. Right? The 9x is the same as 4x plus 5x. Okay? Then it's just factoring by grouping. Okay? So first half, what I have in common is 2x. Okay? And then I'm left with x plus 2. Okay? Second half here, I have a 5 in common. And then I'm left with x plus 2. Pull this out. This becomes x plus 2. 2x plus 5. Okay. And then again, if I'm ever scared or worried that I did it incorrectly, I can just multiply it. If it matches what I originally had, then I know I factored correctly. Okay. So here's the next one. Negative 18x plus 8x squared plus 10. Okay, first it needs to be in standard form. It is not in standard form right now, so I'm going to rewrite it in standard form. Okay. So starting with my x squared, so 8x squared, okay, then negative 18x, and then plus 10. Okay. Then I'm going to look for common factors, greatest common factors. So 8, negative 18, and 10 are all divisible by 2, so I'm going to factor out a 2. Okay, they don't all have an x, so I'm going to leave that in. So 8x squared divided by 2 is 4x squared. Negative 18x divided by 2 is negative 9x. And then 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay. Once I'm here, I'm going to find my a, b, and c. Okay, so a equals 4, b equals negative 9, and c equals 5. A goes with x squared, b goes with x to the power of 1, c is your constant. Okay, then I'm going to do my diamond. Okay. On top is going to be a times c. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20. B here is negative 9. Okay, so I need to find two numbers that multiply to be 20, but when I add them, I get negative 9. Okay. So that's negative 4 and negative 5. Right? So again, the better you know your multiplication, the better you know your addition, right, the easier it is to find these factors. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite it. So it's going to be 4x squared. And then instead of negative 9x, I'm going to replace that middle term with negative 4x and negative 5x. Okay. And this. I didn't change it, I just changed the way it looks, right? It still equals negative 9x. Okay. Then plus 5. Okay. Then I'm going to factor by grouping. Split. Okay. First half, they have a 4x in common. Okay. And then I'm left with x minus 1. Okay. And then this, I'm going to pull out a negative 5. And I'm left with x minus 1. Okay. So 4x minus 5. X minus 1. Okay, it didn't matter if you put x minus 1 first or not. And then earlier we pulled out a 2, so I need to remember to put that in front again, so that way it's still equal to what I started with. Okay. And there you go. Okay, keep going. Okay, the reason why I'm doing so many is because factoring is hard. It takes practice, right? If you're able to do some of these on your own, you can skip ahead, go faster, and then just do it and check your answer. Okay, but for some of us, it's going to take a while. It's going to take practice. Okay, so here's my next one. X squared minus 6x minus 16. Okay, anything in common? Nope, so I can start labeling it. Okay, so A here is 1, right? Because remember, this is a 1x squared. B is negative 6, and C is negative 16. Okay. Then I'm going to make my diamond. If you prefer the box, you can. It's just faster for me to do the diamond. If I didn't have to explain it, it'd be even faster, right? But obviously, I need to explain it and teach it. Okay. So on top is A times C. So 1 times negative 16. Okay. And then bottom is negative 6. Okay, really the order doesn't matter. You just need to remember what multiplies to AC and adds up to B. Okay, so again, what multiplies to AC but adds up to B. Okay, so whether you put one on top or the other, it doesn't matter. Teachers teach it differently, right? But always the thing in common is it multiplies to AC and adds up to B. Okay, so what multiplies to negative 16, but when I add it, I get negative 6. I know. Negative 8 and 2, right? Negative 8 times 2 gives me negative 16. Negative 8 plus 2 gives me a negative 6. Okay, then I can rewrite it. Okay, my middle term is now going to change. Okay. So this negative 6x becomes that negative 8x plus 2x, right? Still equals negative 6x, right? Negative 8x plus 2x is still negative 6x. I just changed the way it looks so that way I can factor by grouping. Okay. The order of these also don't matter. If you're factoring by grouping correctly, you should still get the same thing. Okay, so split. Say from the first half, I can pull out an x. I'm left with x minus 8. The second half, I can pull out a positive 2, and then I'm left with x minus 8. So then I have x plus 2, x minus 8. for this next example, whenever you have a negative in front or a negative as your leading coefficient, you're going to factor that out first. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull out the -1 before I do the diamond or the box. Okay. So here I'm left with x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, and what it did is it changed the sign of all of those. Okay, then a is 1 here, b is 3, c is 2. Set it up. Okay, so I want something to multiply to be a times c, so something that multiplies to 2 and adds up to 3. Okay, so what times what gives you 2, but when you add those two numbers, you get 3. 2 and 1. Okay, so then I'm going to rewrite my x squared. Okay, instead of 3x, it's going to be 2x and 1x. Okay, you can write 1x if you prefer. Okay. Then I'm going to split and solve. Okay, so x squared plus 2x has an x in common. I'm left with x plus 2. Okay, here, the only thing they have in common as a factor is 1, so you're just going to pull out a positive 1. Right, so whenever you don't have anything in common, you just pull out a 1, because they at least are 1 times itself. Right? And then so that doesn't change anything. I'm left with x plus 2. Okay. And so it's x plus 1 times x plus 2. And then don't forget, we pulled out a GCF in the beginning, that -1. We still need to have that -1 out in front. Okay. And here you go. I'm going to have you try this one on your own, okay? And then once you're done with this one, come back and check your answer. Okay, guys, so here you go. I did the diamond and the box. So there was no GCF, so I just started by finding A, B, and C. Okay, if I want the diamond or the box, right, I want something that multiplies into -24, right, since that's what A and C is. I want something that multiplies to be -24, so in the diamond it's here, or talking about here, and multiplies to -24. And then I want something that adds up to B, which is -5. Okay. What you will notice is -8 and 3, okay, multiply to be -24, but when you add these two, you get that -5. Okay. So if you're doing it the diamond method, you just replace -5x with -8x and 3x. Factor by grouping, you should get 2x plus 1, 3x minus 4. Okay. If you did the box method, right, so same thing, it's -8 and 3, so here's -8x and 3x. Okay. When I look at this first column, I can pull out a 2x. When I look at the second column, the only thing they have in common is a 1. Okay. Then for the row here, 6x squared and 3x, they both have a 3x in common. Looking at the second row, they both have a -4 in common. Okay, and so my factors, if I did the box method, is 2x plus 1 and 3x minus 4. Okay, so diamond or box, you should get the same thing if you're doing it correctly. Okay, so I'm going to have you try one more. Okay, here, and then do it. Come check your answer. Okay, so here you go, same thing. There is no GCF, so I'm going to start already by finding A, B, and C. A is 6, B is 5, C is -6. Okay, so using the diamond method, I want what multiplies to AC, which is -36, and what adds up to 5. Okay, so 9 times -4 is -36, but 9 plus -4 is 5. Okay. So then I replace that 5x in the middle with 9x and -4x. Excuse me. Then I factored by grouping. Okay, and I got 3x minus 2 and 2x plus 3. Okay. If you chose to do the box method, then you started with writing 6x squared here and -6. And then same thing with the diamond. You want something that multiplies to be A times C, so something that multiplies to be -36. And then you're looking for something that adds up to 5. Okay. So same thing, you should have found that it was 9 and -4. So 9x and -4x. Then, looking at each column and each row, you would be able to pull out the GCF. Okay, so here you would pull out a 3x. Here you would pull out a negative 2. Here you would pull out a 2x. Here you would pull out a 3. Once you did that, 3x minus 2, 2x plus 3, and you would see that it matches what I got if I did the diamond method. Okay? So here, I'm going to do this last example. Okay, so this is actually a question that I helped with a student from geometry, not one of my geometry students, but another geometry student. She asked me how I could factor this, right? And so, right, normally we do the diamond method, the box method. Okay, so let's do that, okay? So here, A is 6, B is 7, C is negative 49. Right? There is no GCF, so that's why I'm starting with this right away. Okay? So on top, A times C, 6 times negative 49 is negative 294, and B is 7. Okay, so if we ask ourselves those normal questions, what times what gives us negative 294, but when we add it, gives us 7. Okay, I don't know about you, but this is a pretty big number. Okay, some of us already struggle with simple multiplication. To figure out what multiplies to this but adds up to this is pretty hard. Okay, so what I would do is the guess and check method. Okay, some students that I've taught in the past, they love this method, especially if they can do like quick multiplication and everything. So here, I'm going to show it to you. So first, you pick two numbers that multiply to be 6, right? So if you're great with numbers and you have a bit more like number sense, right? You'll probably know, right? Eventually, you want it to add up to 7. Okay, so I'm probably not going to do 1 and 6, right? Or 49 and 1, just because that's going to give me some big number that isn't going to simplify or add to 7. Okay. So I'm probably going to guess that it's 2x and 3x. Okay, this is the guess and check method. Sometimes it's wrong, things like that. Okay, and then to be a negative 49, okay, like I said, I'm probably not going to do 49 here, because if you think about it, 3 times 49 or even 2 times 49 is pretty big. So I'm going to guess maybe it's 7 and negative 7. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do negative 7 and 7. Okay. Then what I do is I multiply across, so 3x times negative 7 is negative 21x, okay? 2x times 7 gives me 14x. Then I'm going to add it, okay? And this gives me negative 7x. Ooh, if something like this happens, I'm pretty close to it, right? All it is the sign flipped, right? So probably it's going to be the reverse. So I'm going to do 2x and 3x again, because I'm pretty sure that's the correct pair for the first term. Okay, because again, 1 and 6 seems too big. Okay, and then instead of negative 7 and 7, I'm going to flip so that it's 7 and negative 7. Okay, then I'm going to multiply across, so 3x times 7, this gives me now a positive 21x. 2x times negative 7 is a negative 14x. And then when I combine these, 21x minus 14x gives me 7x. That matches with this, so that means I have the correct pair. It's going to be 2x and 7 and 3x and negative 7. So easy way, 2x plus 7, 3x minus 7. Okay. So whenever we have big numbers like this, the guess and check method is easy and quick, right? And some people actually prefer this compared to the diamond or the X method. Back then, when I was in school, there was none of this. You basically looked at this, you stared at this, and then you automatically wrote this, right? So now we've thought of a lot of tricks to help you guys, right? So I'm going to do one more problem, and then I'm going to stop here for today. I know the video was long, but it's because factoring requires so much practice, and so I just wanted to do a bunch of problems with you so you get that practice in, okay? So here, the area of a rectangle is given by the polynomial x squared plus 9x plus 20. Okay, we're going to find the dimensions of the rectangle. So remember, it's length times width. And so what we're going to do is we're going to factor to figure out what the length would be and what the width would be. Okay, and since we're doing area of a rectangle, I thought, hey, why not? Let's do our box method. Okay, you know that normally I do the diamond method, it's faster, or even the guess and check method. But because we're doing area of a rectangle, let's do the box method. Okay, so I'm going to do my 2 by 2. Okay, my first term here, my ax squared is going to be here in the first box. My constant here is going to be in this bottom right box. Okay, so again, I want to find something that multiplies to be a times c. So in this case, this is a 1 and a 20. So I want something that multiplies to be 20. And I want something that adds up to be whatever b is. Okay, so here it needs to add up to 9. Right, so what times what gives you 20? Adds up to 9? 4x and 5x. Okay, so 4x, 5x. Doesn't matter if you put 5x here and 4x here, you would still get the same thing. Okay, so looking at the first row, x squared, 5x, they both have an x in common, so I'm going to pull that out. In the bottom row, 4x and 20, they both have a 4 in common, so plus 4. Okay. Then let's do the row. X squared and 4x, they both have an x in common. Okay, then 5x and 20, they both have a 5 in common. Okay, then this is going to be one of my factors. This is going to be one of my factors. So x plus 4 and x plus 5. Right, so the area of a rectangle is found by this. Okay, what are the dimensions? Okay, so one of them is x plus 4, the other one is x plus 5, right? So if you wanted to write it separately, right, you can say length is x plus 4, and width is x plus 5, right, or vice versa. Sorry. Okay, and there you go. That's it for today. I know that was a lot. If you have any questions, please put them in the Nearpod for me to know, or ask me in class. Okay. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.